how could such a dynamic president of the United States, if you look at the career of Bill Clinton, he stands tall among the rich lineage of presidents of America, from Abraham Lincoln to Kennedy to George Washington to Ronald Reagan. He is impressed by an 80-year-old saffron-clad person from India who doesn't speak a single sentence in English, just by having a conversation, a casual one with him. And he says, I haven't seen such integrity in my life. And Pramukh Swami Maharaj very casually said, in his very traditional way, catching hold of Clinton's hand, Akshardham Gandhinagar ma jowa mate avjo. And the interpreter saying, he said that he is personally inviting you to visit Swamiyan Akshardham at Gandhinagar. Bill Clinton immediately said, he responded that when he is personally inviting, I will come. And he came to Gandhinagar, to Akshardham. So when you are ethically right, you don't need any other ornaments of talents. When you are ethically right, you don't need any other branded clothes. Gandhiji, I told, simply clad. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, I told, saffron clad. But Gandhi could impress Winston Churchill. Pramukh Swami Maharaj could impress Bill Clinton. So this proves that you don't need branded things to impress people. You don't need, well, if you have some good talents in academics, that is fine. It's a credit and that adds up. But if you are pure at heart, it will touch. If you are very clear in your thought processes, it will touch. If you are full of values and virtues and wedded to, sometimes I jokingly say, everybody must marry twice in their life. Everybody must marry twice in their life. One with their spouse and second with ethics. You must wed with ethics. That is ethics in life. If you respect ethics, ethics will respect you. If you don't respect ethics, ethics will not respect you. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you are, you have to respect ethics. From a small man on the street to a high-ranking executive, to from an ordinary shop owner to a huge family business owner, everybody has to respect ethics. Only then ethics will respect you. With ethics, your chances to grow are better. Without ethics, your chances to grow slim. Many times I put forward a very simple example that, for example, if you are an electrical engineer and you start your career with the Gujarat Electricity Board and you become a junior engineer, then a senior engineer, then an executive engineer, and then you become even the chairman of the Gujarat Electricity Board after your good 35 years of career with the GB. On a fine Sunday morning when you are reading the newspaper, can you put your collars up and tell to the electric plug just beside you, let's see, this is the chairman's finger, I am putting it inside, okay, take care of it. Does the chairman of the GEB has the right to put his finger inside the plug?
No.
Will electricity respect it?
No.
Will electricity welcome it with a floral garland? चिपका देगी, मर जाएगा. Because electricity doesn't know your post, position and power. In the same way, ethics doesn't know your post, position and power. Like electricity, ethics doesn't know your post, position and power. Whoever you are, if you play with the banks, you will have to run away to London. If you distort cricket ball, you will have to leave cricket. If you engage yourself in the game with some kind of match fixing, we hope today evening it is not. Because today evening it's a high profile match. Then you will have to leave cricket. It is as simple as that. That happened in 2018 when the captain of the Australian cricket team, Steve Smith, and the opening batsman, David Warner, had to be picked up by the ethics committee halfway in their South Africa tour.
Yes.
And they were given a 1-year ban. If the athletes, they use drugs, that is performance enhancing drugs, we call it doping. They are banned. Maybe for a couple of years, maybe for 3-5 years, and maybe sometimes they are stripped of their medal. Lance Armstrong, who won Tour de France 7 times consecutively, the greatest cycling champion, the greatest cyclist the planet has ever seen. 7 international titles, that too, the biggest title of that sport is Tour de France title. He won it for 7 successive years from 1999 to 2005. But when the scandal broke open, that he and his team were using performance enhanced drugs, they were banned, and all his titles, all his earnings, all his prizes and awards were all stripped. So ethics is like electricity. You don't have the right to play with it. In the same way, this is just about money or administration, even at your workplace. Mind well, when you, men and women, are working together, everybody has the right to work. Man or women, both have the right to academics, both have the right to work, both have the right to develop their professional careers, both have the right to work together, make wonderful teams, pull in their resources respectively, pull in their talents respectively, and come up with wonderful projects. But mind well, when you are in a team together, a simple handshake can prove dangerous after 6 months for both of them. And that is why this Me Too movement. This is unethical behavior at your workplace. और ये बातें सब अनएथिकल बिहेवियर की एट ऑफिस प्लेस कैसी है, वो 20 साल के बाद, 40 साल के बाद भी बाहर आती हैं. In the last government, central government, a high ranking, a high profile cabinet minister had to put in his papers. Because Me Too movement 25 साल पुराना बाहर निकला. Ethics, behavior, nothing is about character. When we were children, we learned in the schools a proverb that was taught to us and marked by our English teacher, LBH, learned by heart. And we have done it. When wealth is lost, something is lost. When health is lost, when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. And when character is lost, everything is lost. You come down crashing on the floor, you become zero from hero within seconds. You have to take care of your ethics. You have to take care of your ethical behaviors. And those people who have taken care of it, they have lived a successful, satisfactory life. They have lived a happy, prosperous life. They have lived a life of inspiration, a source of motivation for generations to come. Sachin Tendulkar perhaps would have been given out in the wrong way. That is, when he was not out, he was given out more than 10 times. Because of certain reasons. Still, when the umpire's finger he saw from the crease up, he would, without the slightest negative expression on his face, leave the crease, with his head down, start walking towards the pavilion. Never ever, even outside the field, in a press conference, he has ever spoke anything about this. Even when the press people would put their fingers in his mouth and expect or try to bring out a couple of words against the decision, he has never spoken. A stage in Sachin Tendulkar's life was such that if he would just speak a couple of words against the decision, the umpire's credit and the umpire's credentials and the umpire's career could be at stake.
Yes.
At a stage, Sachin was at that level. He never did that. Great men are always a source of inspiration. Till today, after 100 international tons, after being the most popular personality in the country, Sachin Tendulkar has never got involved in any kind of controversy till date. This is called ethics and business. When you live with ethics, the last thing that I said before that example of Sachin that I quoted, you become a source of inspiration. You can motivate people by your presence. You can infuse the values and virtues and determination for it, a liking for it, just by a casual 1-minute meet. That we saw in the life of Pramukh Swami Maharaj hundreds of times. Once Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in Anand, and a police inspector came to Pramukh Swami Maharaj for his personal darshan in the routine times. He joined the queue and came to Swami and just started crying. And he said, Swamiji, till last year, I had the habit of accepting bribes from truck drivers and other people on the road, on the crossroads. Last year I had your darshan. And last year in an assembly when I was sitting, you professed that we should not do any type of unethical act ever in our life. And I was so much inspired by those words that from that day I decided to cast off this feather of my life, to cast off this habit. It was a struggle for me, but yet I was so much inspired by your aura, by your words, by the purity of your words and heart, that I always got the strength whenever it was a bit slippery, a bit juicy that I would find at times by remembering your words, your face and your aura, that today I am in complete control of my thoughts and emotions. Since last 1 year, I have never touched illegal money. I could keep myself away from bribes. So if you want strength, if you want a moral courage to work on the life, to work on your certain kinds of acts, behaviors and habits, to have a more stronger ethical character of yours in your life, you need to read, you need to listen, you need to attach yourself with such kind of personalities. As I talked about Sachin Tendulkar, I talked about Pramukh Swami Maharaj, you may read Nelson Mandela, you may read Mahatma Gandhi, you may read Abraham Lincoln. These people under any circumstances have never given away towards the slippery path of unethical behavior. Chances are 100%, not just chances, but surety is 100% that you may come across many such occasions in your life that you may find that this is a shortcut to richness. This is a shortcut to prosperity. This is a shortcut to fame. But remember, there is no shortcut to success. Your journey to the top of the Himalayas, to the top of the Everest, starts with your one step outside your home. Success is always climbing the ladder. It is not an escalator. Trying for unethical behaviors and unethical practices and wanting to have overnight success has not been a success with anybody, will not be with anybody. If at all momentary, it will be or never will be with you for your lifetime. દોડે દિવસે તારા દેખાઈ જશે. If you go for unethical behaviors. So respect ethics, love ethics, walk, talk ethics. This is the biggest treasure that you have. See, even with the best of administration, best of management and the best of know-hows and academics, if you don't have the best of practices, those all best of infra would never help you to grow. Once there was a meeting of transport ministers of all the country to discuss traffic issues in their respective countries and what solutions they can come up with. The transport minister of Italy, when his turn came, he told the audience, all the transport ministers of the world, that see in Italy what happens. That in Rome, we have people with the attitudes that traffic lights are instructions. And when it is an instruction, you follow it in a disciplined way. So in Rome, we have got a good traffic management because people have the attitude of traffic lights being instructions. In Naples, the second city of Italy, there is a bit of a mismanagement because there people understand that traffic lights are suggestions. It's a suggestion. And suggestions are always such that you may or may not accept. Forget about towing the line. And in our mafia city, that is Sicily, in Italy, people have the attitude that these traffic lights are Christmas decorations. लाल पीली होती है ना, Christmas decorations, Diwali lights. 10 दिन के बाद आएगी, Diwali lights. So the traffic sense in the people of Sicily or the traffic management in the city of Sicily is the worst in our country. Because in Rome it is instructions, in Naples it is suggestions, in Sicily it is Christmas decorations. By this example I want to put forward the point that the best of infra, but your wrong attitude towards ethics will not help you. And perhaps less on infra, but you better on attitude towards ethics will work you better. It is as simple as that. If I want to describe, if I want to define ethics in one line, do what is right, do it right, and do it right now. This is called ethics. I want all of you to repeat with me. Do what is right.
Do what is right.
Do it right.
Do it right.
Do it right now.
Do it right now.
Again. Do what is right.
Do what is right.
Do it right.
Do it right.
Do it right now.
Do it right now.
This is ethics in one line. If you want to get energized for ethical behavior in your life, I again suggest you a very good book, The Rise and Fall of Enron.
Yes.
The power company. In the early 90s, they came to Maharashtra in India. After the fall of Enron, one of the top MNCs among the top ranks at the Wall Street, Robert Kaplan, a good analyst, a top class management guru, he has written the book, The Rise and Fall of Enron, in which he writes, now this is a wonderful thing that all of you must definitely remember, that for any rise in your business, for any rise in your management or administration, or even with the NGOs like us, he dedicates only 38% to tangible values and 62% to intangible values. Tangible values in an organization is good office space, office location in a posh business area, well-equipped staff, experienced, academically qualified staff, your good social connectivity, your resources, material resources, money resources, man resources, all this come together to put up only 38% for success in your business. And 62%, he says, is intangible values. That is, which are not clearly seen by your eye or perhaps not at first hand experienced by you, like discipline, truth, morality, values and virtues, ethics. These are called intangible values. 62% of the growth of any organization, a profit organization or a non-profit organization, depends upon intangible values. Top class management gurus teach this. You see the management conferences of top class management gurus like Augmentino, Ken Blanchard, all these people must be, I always had the question, and many have that, what must they be teaching to top class executives who already control 5,000 crores, 10,000 crores of business every year? They are not to be taught systems, they are not to be taught admin, they are not to be taught networking. What are they taught by these top class management gurus? They are taught only one thing, which is the fundamental foundational statement of Google. This statement you will find on the screen, on the desktop of each and every Google employee. This you will find even written in the lavatories of Google buildings. And that is, after 3 days of brainstorming session by top 150 executives of Google, they came to this. The brainstorming was, how can we grow more? How can Google become a brand till the sun and moon shines upon this earth? And they came up with this 3 words: don't be evil. Whatever you do on the floor of Google, don't be evil. That is, don't go for unethical practices. If you cannot come up with a couple of good ideas, fine. Just respect your working table. If you cannot come up with a couple of good policy ideas, fine. Just be familiar with your working table at your workplace. But don't be evil. So people are conscious about this. People are conscious about this. That any rise can be punctured within seconds by an unethical behavior. I just end my talk in the last 5 minutes. You might have heard the name of Rajat Gupta. IIT Kharagpur graduate, Harvard graduate, that means a top class techno management degree. According to the newspaper reports and according to the court proceedings in the US, Rajat Mehta, he was director with Goldman, director with McKinsey, and many other huge corporations, on board of tens of such huge MNCs. For him it was said and written in the New York Times and the newspapers that he is the face of corporate India in the Western world. One fine morning, Warren Buffett calls up Goldman and says that I want to put my $5 billion of personal investment into Goldman. Now $5 billion is a huge money, and that too personal investment of Warren Buffett, not his company, Berkshire Hathaway. So the board of Goldman, they met at that time, the meeting was on in Moscow in Russia, and they decided to accept the offer because it was a credit for them as well. It is said, according to the court proceedings and the newspaper reports, that Rajat Mehta, coming out of this board meeting, made a 5-second phone call to his business partner, Mr. Rajaratnam, a Sri Lankan in New York, and just said one sentence: pick up Goldman as much as you can. So that man went mad on Wall Street after Goldman. He picked up about like $1.7 million of Goldman shares because they knew the next morning when the announcements will be made, the stocks will start rising. And at one stage we can sell them and make a good profit. And so it happened. Next morning when at 10, the announcements are officially made by Goldman that Warren Buffett is putting his $5 billion into Goldman, the stocks started rising. Still the stocks went on picking it up. By noon time, they took a decision, Rajat Gupta, that sell it off. They sold it off, and by evening time they sold off everything and made a good $2 to $2.5 million of profit. Now this seems wonderful, isn't it? One day, one deal, $2.5 million. One day, one deal, $2.5 million. Seems a good deal. An Indian bowler who has been